So today is the November 30th,
Yep.
and this is the Auburn Housing Authority meeting. And we have Auburn Community Television recording us. There's no members of the public, is that correct? And I guess we can start off with our Pledge of Allegiance.
Is this
Which
one we're
is-
doing? Is that where you-
No, it's an amendment, so we're doing both.
Oh, okay.
Pledge allegiance first.
Okay.
Right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Congratulations. The butterfly flap its wings.
No, it's worked out fine.
Not we the ones.
Okay, so public comment, I guess we could skip that since there's nobody here.
Put my
And we have
To the budget.
discussion on the budget. All right.
Plus, I have some questions. First time we've seen it, so bear with me.
These blacked out areas, does that mean that there's zeros in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe that was one of them. Now, under the administrative salaries, compensated absences, I think I had requested at a meeting some time ago that be broken out to a separate line item and shown. You know, the holiday pay, all of the pay that's given for no work done, I guess would be all encompassing. You know what I'm saying? So PTO, sick, vacation, holiday, all of that broken out by the amount. And also under the electricity, I was wondering, do you guys have a contract with anybody? Or are you with the town or, and who's the town's provider?
It just changed.
it was aggregate something. Hang on.
It went from, I forget what the original, I'm on the Energy Committee.
Oh, you
And it
are?
was a big drop from the old contract to the new contract. I
Oh,
actually,
that's great.
I opted out of the town contract because even, National Grid was high, this guy was a little bit lower, but there were much better rates outside. But now I think the new rate is 15 cents, and I think the guy I was on had gone up to like 16.
Yeah,
And National Grid is still around 20 or something.
right.
So, but yeah,
That's great.
electricity went pretty crazy for a
It
while.
did, yeah. Oil, electricity, gas, all gone crazy.
But the town rate is actually really good because it's for 2 years.
Mhm.
So, it drives me crazy that you have to do this every year.
Now this says Nextera Energy Services,
Nextera, yep,
Auburn AGG.
okay.
So that's,
Auburn aggregate, yeah.
yep, so that's one of them, but we are also involved in a solar.
Right, I saw that, yeah. I
So
saw
we
that
do-
on here, the solar operator and then the net meter credit.
So we do have that and this.
That's good. Yeah.
But what I'm finding is it's all broken out by building.
Yeah.
And some buildings are carrying a huge credit and other buildings are at a deficit, but they won't, and it's almost
They won't.
$40,000 that they're holding of our money. Like one building has like a $14,000 credit. And we've asked in the past to get this
Have it applied
right,
elsewhere.
and they won't.
National Grid.
Who controls
They
the
will not-
credit?
They will not, they do.
The National Grid.
Yeah, so I started pulling it out and looking at
Yeah,
the deficit as opposed to the credit. So maybe we can try again if we write them a letter. I mean, it's almost $40,000.
Yeah,
When you
that's a lot
weigh-
of money.
That's a lot of money they're tying up of our money.
That's ridiculous.
There might be a, because we're getting separate bills from them. Is that how it's working per building?
Yep.
But it's all getting paid from
I
the
have a
same
relative
accounts.
that works at National Grid in the customer service area, so I'll ask a question too.
Because we've asked in the past, and they said that that was an agreement that was made probably 20 years ago. So, I mean, with the times the way they are, to be carrying that kind of a credit,
Now, how would they ever use it?
well, they apply it. Because if you look,
So every month they apply it to the balance and
Yeah.
then decrease the credit.
yep, like on this one, here's,
Yeah, but the solar farm is creating income
yep.
faster than
Now you look
spending
at
it.
this, they're saying we don't owe any money because we're carrying a credit. This was the current amount, this is the available credit.
Okay, that's not 20,000,
No, 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 but,
40,000.
no, but here, look at this one.
So how many electric bills do we get?
We get one for every building.
Crazy.
So you see this?
So it's not a lot per building.
Oh, there's one
It's
that
just a
was
lot.
14 grand,
But yeah, that one,
And does this happen every month?
pretty much.
But the contract is 20 years.
That's the solar, that's the solar company, right?
And the people at National Grid told me that, well, after 20 years, you would pay for your electricity with the contract as well.
because it just sits on the
Which
account.
is one of the reasons why I never
But that-
talk
and
to
the
solar
problem
people,
with that
because it's
is-
just, yeah.
Yeah,
So it just sits on the account. In
Right.
20 years, we'll have free.
so when the contract is over, then that will pay for the insurance, but that's people will feel
But where does the
Yeah.
credit go that
Like,
the
look at-
solar farm is still generating?
Like this one, look at that one. This one's almost,
That's a big number.
this is just for Stoneville. And he has the big one over there. I mean, it's the only game in town, right?
Nice to be utility, nice to have it up.
Look at this credit one. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
this
ridiculous.
is not, yeah, this is not right.
It's crazy money that they're tying up out of our budget.
Yeah, well, especially since the budget went, but, you know, although I guess this is technically, what's in this budget is not what was actually spent. Because it was actually spent to the solar farm.
And this, and,
Mm.
and even their bills fluctuate. The solar bills.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of money. And I started right, because I was like,
That's really a question that, you know, our representatives could, you know, insert a line that says, you know, credits over 10,000.
Right.
Your credits can't be more than 5,000 and you have to refund in cash
Mhm.
or something,
Out of the agreement,
yeah.
yeah.
because if the agreement is that old, is it time to revisit it? I
20
mean,
years from now.
Yeah, well, that's typically the commitment for a solar project, right, is 20 years.
Yeah.
That's the average.
Right.
That's been a long time.
but the National Grid thing is, you figure, this was all in place prior to me, and I've been here 17 years.
Yeah.
So,
I forget when they deregulated electricity, but National Grid got a sweet up deal.
Yeah,
That we all
for
know.
sure. And that, when were the solar panels installed, do you know? Were you here when that happened?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was here during that.
okay, because that contract's usually 20 years.
Yep. That
Yeah,
was
that's
me.
what Betty said, 20 years.
Where's the solar?
Charlton,
Oh, yes, yes.
it's in Charlton.
Oh, right.
St. Joseph's,
Yep. Road.
yeah.
We just owe a share of that, I assume it's not our own fund.
It's still,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
we've got like an investment in Charlton.
Mhm.
That's true.
departments too that were in that same.
Yeah.
Probably in the same.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, because that's not something that we did on our own.
Right.
Like you say, that's a good idea, Betty, is check with other, you know, housing authorities and find out what's going on with them and their electric bills.
If they're holding their money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Because it's
question.
like, it doesn't make sense, they're holding like $40,000, but yet we're still paying out.
Well, it's very weird, right, like we've got, 9 bills with the credit and then 9 bills you're taking our cash flow.
And it's over like $1,500 for some of them, I mean,
Yeah,
why aren't you just dwindling our credit down instead of forcing us to continue to pay?
I think it makes sense.
So
their system is.
I think we need to aggregate the billing.
Mm.
Right,
Right.
basically.
Right. But it doesn't benefit them to do that.
No,
Yeah, right, when they're working on our money.
no, I
Right.
mean, and we're losing, not that there's a lot of interest, but still,
Mhm.
they're holding our money.
Mm. Well, it's more now than there was. More questions? I'm curious as to the line under depreciation expenses blacked out. Do you have any clue why there's no depreciation?
But I can ask them.
I mean, you have equipment, you have buildings, you have.
But is it somewhere else?
I didn't see it anywhere else.
Because-
That's why I asked.
See, you have mine,
Uh,
so let me
Fine.
just look at this a minute. Okay, so this is, the one you're looking at the top is just for the state.
Right, but
This is the
each
state
one,
piece of it.
yeah, and on each one, it's showing depreciation blacked out.
Everything's old.
So, is everything fully depreciated? I mean,
Probably.
that can't be. You're always making capital improvements, and even that, I don't even see that.
Okay, so this is the state.
Do you put this budget together, Lauren?
No, he asks me for input, but
He is,
Gary,
Gary.
the accountant, does the budget.
Gary, the accountant in Florida,
Yep,
is that the man?
yep, that's him.
He was at our meeting.
He was at
I
the
know, I
meeting,
missed him.
and this is federal.
I would have loved to have been there. I mean, both of them, the lines are blocked out.
That's an interesting question though, but the answer might be that a public authority doesn't
Exactly.
depreciate.
I thought about that as well, and so
capital
that could
equipment.
very well
Pardon me.
be the case. But I just thought I'd ask the question. Yeah, because I'm sure they're operating under different tax laws than
Then,
than anybody else.
you know. And that might just be a generic form,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it's blocked out.
We're gonna try to get him on the phone, maybe he can answer these.
Because this said, maybe it's good, well, it's good to ask the question anyways.
Because it's a municipal finance thing, not a private finance thing. That's what I
That's a
suspicion
guess.
is.
Yeah, municipal,
How do you give a, left hand's giving a tax break to the right hand? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Okay, she's printing you out your own.
Thank you.
I mean, we need to know why they're blacked out.
I mean, other lines are there that just have nothing in them, and, but they're not blacked out, so maybe, I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, he's on speaker.
Hello.
Hello?
So we had a question
Sure.
on
Depreciation.
depreciation. There's a couple of things on the budget where the lines are blacked out, and we were just wondering if they don't apply because, or if they're just zeros, or,
No, they don't apply for a budget because those apply for the year end when we actually have depreciation expense. We don't have to budget for depreciation.
okay.
So, but it draws attention to it because the line was blacked out, so that's why we asked the
It's blacked
question.
out because it's not applicable to a budget.
Okay.
Okay, ask him about the compensated absences.
Also on the payroll, under the administrative salaries, the compensated absences,
Yeah,
how come PTO and vacation and all of that isn't broken out on a separate line item?
again, that has nothing to do with a budget. That has to do with year end when we calculate the compensated absences. And the difference from what it is accrued each year will be expensed to that account or reduced to that account.
Okay,
So that's really a year-end issue.
okay, but on the monthly reports that we get about the expenditures and stuff, it's not broken out there either.
That's
So-
correct, because it's only done at December when we do the year-end report. So there's no calculation of what the compensated absences value is until it's on our December statement.
I think, if I can presume, the reason you're asking this question is because you want to sort of make sure that we're not accumulating too much arrears
Right,
for,
right. And also that it's
Payroll
being
expenses.
tracked on a monthly basis.
Your executive director tracks time on a monthly basis, and I believe she's giving her time to you, that's meaning use of vacation and use of sick time during each month. But the actual calculation to calculate a dollar value is done only at year end on my reports.
Okay, so it's not calculated within the payroll each week.
The balances are accruing on a weekly basis for each individual employee.
Yes,
But we're not tracking the actual value of compensated absences except on year end. And that would be the difference. I guess I'll give you an example. If the executive director has 10 weeks vacation on the books at the end of last December, and this year at the end of December she has 12 weeks, then 2 weeks will get expensed to compensated absences. If she had 10 weeks last year and 8 weeks at the end of this year, then 2 weeks will decrease that compensated absences expense account.
all right, so clearly it's done differently within this setting than anywhere else I've ever operated in my life, correct?
Well, no, because I'm not sure what you're trying to track. The dollar value, if you're just trying to track their time, the personnel, the executive director tracks each individual employee's tracking on a monthly basis. But it is not calculated into a dollar value except for year end.
Okay, I think what I'll do, Gary, is we'll move on to some other questions that we have for now.
Okay.
And if I'm seeking further clarification on that, I will go through Steve and get you those questions, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
So the depreciation, all right, so that was it on the blacked out lines, we know why none of
Thank you,
it,
Gary.
none of it, happens with the budget.
Like I said, I wish I had known I could have been a bit more prepared.
I think you did pretty good off the seat of your pants.
Okay, thank you.
So any questions that we have, we'll just turn around and get them to you, and then we'll get the answers,
That'd be great.
Sure,
okay?
okay.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, Lori, thanks.
Bye.
Okay, anybody else on that page?
I did not. I mean, everything seems pretty
Right,
flat.
so that's generated at the end of the year. No, that is a budget. On the schedule of all positions and salaries, everybody has hours listed except for the executive director. What are you at, 37 and a half a week?
Yep,
State?
37 and a half.
Okay, great. And with 3 full-time, 2 part-time, and 1 part-time unfilled, is that the groundskeeper there?
Right, he kept those positions in case we needed them.
Okay. And can you, what is the on-call $35 a week? Is that if some?
On-call is actually 50.
Okay, it says 35.
Yeah.
Okay. And how does that work? Are they get paid an extra $50 to be on call for the week, and if they have to come in, they get paid the hours that they work?
Mm-hmm.
And are they on call, are the part-time people expected to be on call,
We
like
don't
the
have any
full-time,
part-time right now. These positions are unfilled.
all of them? Oh, okay, because there was nothing
Yeah,
on,
they're
only
all-
on one line.
Right now, we only have 3 full-time maintenance people. The
Okay.
on-call, they rotate. Every week they take a turn. They're paid $50 for being on call, and then they're compensated if they come in, there's a 2-hour minimum at their overtime rate for coming in. So
Okay.
that means after hours and weekends and holidays,
Mhm.
they're required to come in.
Okay. And so they all rotate on a 3 week, so it would be a 3-week basis, each one takes a whole week. Okay. When you do have part-time, are they expected to be on call as well?
They
No.
never were.
They never were.
And we wanted to institute that by asking them to do on-call, and they gave no, they actually quit. They didn't give all this.
Well, it's an unbenefited part-time position, and that's a big ask for a
Mhm.
part-time employee. It's understandable.
Mhm.
Yeah. So are those positions going to be filled?
As needed.
Okay. And so probably asking them to be on call will not be part of that renewed, if we could have, I mean,
It depends where we go, because with the plumbing and the electric, you need to have a licensed plumber, you need to have a licensed electrician. So a lot of our work now is we're requiring us to pay contractors come in and do the work. So what we found was that the 3 full-time people were able to manage with the contract help. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the snow removal piece of it, because the part-time people were a big help, especially as far as with snow removal, as far as shoveling and so it may not be, depending on who we get. We may turn around and just take and lump that one position into one more
right,
full-time
Right.
person
right.
and go
then-
that route.
Then,
But at least we know we have the money budgeted in the event that we do need to do that.
so, but clearly it did hinder the fact that, we're part-time people, for sure, so
And they had been with us a long time
it's
too.
too bad.
Yep.
Because they know the drill, and it costs a lot to rehire somebody and go through all of that again.
We clear our own snow mostly, or is it
Yes, we do.
contracted out?
We do not contract out snow. We have the vehicles with plows, and we have 2 sanders. So it was pretty much the shoveling, and we have those little popobiles with the plow on the front
Yeah.
and the sander on the back.
Yeah.
So we have one at Packagug and one at Stoneville, little popemobile, so they can just do the sidewalks. That way they can clean in between the spaces of the vehicles. The residents are required to move their vehicles out in order for
So you can
the
plow.
staff to plow, but they don't actually do that until the day after the storm. The day of the storm, they're required to keep the entrances, the main roadways open, but they do not plow the residents' spaces until the following day. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's for emergency access
Mm-hmm.
that the, you know, the
Mhm.
parking lots are
Mhm.
kept open. So this will be the first year.
So this will be your first year without the part-timers picking up that slack.
And what we found was when I first started, we did have contractors
Yes,
doing
we did.
the plowing,
It's the notice.
but it was big money.
Yeah.
And we found that it was cheaper to actually
By a plow.
buy a plow and do it ourselves than what we were paying out to have a contractor to do the work.
Probably back then, but not now, right? The cost of vehicles and.
Well, we just
Yeah, I know.
purchased a vehicle. We had it in the budget. We just purchased, well, we haven't picked it up, it'll be picked up next week. And it's an F-350 with a plow, and it came to $58,000. We had budgeted
Wow.
$70,000, but it's 58, almost 59,000 for an F-350,
That was new.
2023,
Wow.
124
That's a great price.
miles on.
Wow, that is a terrific place.
And we got it through Place Motors, brand new. So we do have an extra plow now, and we do have 2 sanders.
So is Place Motors, is that a preferred vendor for the state?
Yes,
Okay, that's
Yep.
why. Yeah, that's why. It's good.
we get a reduced
Right,
price.
right. Anybody else would have paid 70 to 80 for that.
Right.
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 Without the plow.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, maybe we'll have another light winter anyway.
The way my neck's going, lose it every weekend.
So the calculation of the operating reserve balance, the maximum reserve 50% and the minimum reserve 20%. So as long as it falls anywhere between that 20 and 50, you're on target, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, this is a proposed budget. We don't know, like, in any given year,
Of course,
what, like this year,
something gets thrown at you that,
I
you
mean,
weren't
we had-
anticipating.
we had big problems with plumbing at Packagug Village, with the toilet, the wipes and that whole thing, that cost us a lot of money. And it's just one thing after another.
Now that you brought that up, what was the end result with that? Did you get a plumber in there and they checked the lines and
We had more than one plumber.
they scoped the lines?
Garabedian came in and scoped the lines. They found out that the pipes themselves are sagging underground. So that with the sag and the ragged edges on the pipes, they were catching the wipes
Causing the
and causing the problem. Not gone, I don't know if this is even word, but we haven't had, since we sent out notices, made the residents aware that the flushable wipes aren't so flushable because they're getting caught in our system. We haven't had any issues right now. But everything got drained out, cleaned out. We had each individual building cleaned from the street, from the building itself into the driveway, so that there weren't any blockages. They'd been flushed. So, the place was built in the 70s,
Mhm.
so it's all old, so
So is that now going to become an annual operation that gets done? Probably, yeah.
and it's probably gonna be twice a year at least,
Yeah,
so that we can avoid some
yeah,
of these
avoid the other, yeah.
backups.
Yeah.
And we had been doing it, but it just got to the point where, and every time they opened up like the manhole cover, the white, it was like incredible.
Mhm.
the amount of wipes
Mhm.
in a short amount of time
Right.
that we're accumulating. So hopefully we've got it under control, but if we have to do it quarterly to flush them, then we'll do it quarterly. Because in the long run, it's less of a hassle for the residents, because they're not gonna be inconvenienced by having these backups. And then we're not gonna have these unexpected things happen in the middle of the night when the stuff
Which is pretty bad.
Exactly.
is coming up.
Yeah, because
they-
that's short money in comparison to having to then do all the repairs and
Right. And
cleaning and
inconveniencing people.
inconvenience people. Absolutely.
Maintenance is cheaper.
So it is short.
Proactive instead of reactive
Yep.
is always better.
Now, the other thing we have at the Packet Truck Village, that nobody has ever been able to explain this. But if you live on the second floor, and if you take and drain your sink, like say you have a dishpan, and you turn around and dump it all at once down the drain, it can end up in the first floor kitchens
It sounds like a venting issue.
sink. The state has been out a number of times and they just keep saying that this is the way it is.
Right, because they didn't vent
Because
it
they don't want
properly.
rip-
The
they don't
vent
want
isn't
rip-
big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not drawing the right amount of air. Yeah.
So that's another thing that they're gonna have to address because this has been going on for a number of years. And the person on the first floor, I wouldn't blame them, I
Yeah,
wouldn't want
it's
somebody
second
else
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
crap coming down and landing in my sink,
Is that in the front and the back?
just in the front.
Yeah, because I do that. I wash my shoes every night, and then I dump the water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just in the front and it
Okay,
seems
good.
to be more often,
Stop it.
it's how they dump the water.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
That's on the list.
Yeah, not properly vented plumbing.
I
Right.
don't think,
Yep.
Do the apartments have
Said
garbage disposals?
I
Most
don't usually do that, I just
not
run,
all,
I run it
Mm,
and let it go. I don't,
That's never a good thing.
Put them in
the garbage disposal, we were finding that if
Oh,
we
in
could
a
take them
thing.
out prior to leasing,
a scrub.
we were taking them out and having them capped off by a plumber. Because if you have it, you have to keep it with the current resident that's in the building. But if you don't have it, you don't have to provide it.
Mhm.
And they're a pain in the neck. I mean,
They
We've
they
had-
can be. Yep.
teeth go down, we've had glasses.
Wait a minute, my eye hasn't gone down yet.
No, but I mean, we've had, you're not the only one that had a,
Yeah.
yeah,
so they either end up in the garbage disposal or the toilet.
Jeez.
So it's an issue.
Yeah.
So if we can prevent that, then,
Right.
like we had buddy pulls for years. We've tried to get rid of most of those because they didn't go anywhere. It would send off a little thing in the hallway, but unless somebody was in the hallway, nobody would even know.
Mhm.
So it was a false sense of security
Mhm.
because it wasn't
Yeah.
like it rang anywhere. It just went nowhere.
Oh, boy.
The question is that, but if food goes through the garbage disposal, theoretically, it's much smaller than stuff going down the drain to create that clog farther down the line. That was kind of why I was asking the question. So it's like everything else, it can cut both ways. If it goes through the garbage disposal, it's pretty fine.
I'll have to look
If it
at
doesn't go through the garbage disposal,
How
You
many
know,
garbage disposals are? I
it's
think
a
it's all of
cash
us in a senior.
Well, if you know,
They shouldn't
don't
have a
have a
senior.
garbage disposal, you're not typically putting things down the drain, right?
You wouldn't think.
Typically.
but things fall into the
Yeah.
drain because you're working
Some
on
old,
it.
which is why you always keep one of those little drain covers on
Yeah, I
there.
know, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
now you've got a half-inch carrot floating through instead
Right.
of, you
Right.
know, a little tiny
Oh,
micro.
God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would never want one. Nope.
So which is better, which is worse, I don't know. I'm just,
I worry about the old.
You put
They
your
don't
hand
put
down
their
and trying to
hand-
get whatever fell.
oh, no, no,
yeah, that-
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
yeah,
yeah.
Disgusting.
no, you know,
But it could happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
mhm.
Yes. it
Well, if you drop the spoon down,
There's
you
been a
know,
lot of soda
that's
in
not
it.
such an easy thing to get out.
You've got to get that out of there.
That is
you
in
know.
the garbage disposals.
You know.
How many do they actually have? Garbage disposals.
I don't know, because if they've taken them out, we have to go back in and look to see how many we still have, but our
I
goal
just
is
think
to,
it's,
And if they
That's
break, do you have to replace them? Yeah,
that's the other thing,
oh, well,
because they were there.
and it's expensive. But if it served a purpose, then that would be one thing. Like, I don't have one in my house in Auburn,
I would
but I
never
have one in my house in Maine, and it's like, holy crap. You know? I'm better off not having one,
That's right.
Mhm.
really,
Absolutely right.
now that I know the difference.
I worry about the people.
Yeah?
Mhm.
What software are we paying a licensing fee for? Is that for the Quicken?
PHA network,
PHA network?
yep, that's our housing software.
Yeah, going back to the plumbing, have you talked to any of the other directors and ever had a discussion about, like, you hire an electrician, they hire a plumber,
See,
that kind of a thing, and then everybody sort of taps into the same construction skill that they need? Or is it too complicated?
I don't think, I mean, unless you're a big housing authority like Worcester, and they're using contract people too, because they can't keep up with the demand in their own. But I'm not,
Yeah, they keep people on staff. One of my friends is a plumber for the plumbing village.
Mm-hmm.
He's on staff, on site all
Right.
the time.
But we're too small
We're
to
too small for
afford,
that.
but we might be able to afford, like, as a group, you know, everybody shares an electrician's share of their salary, because you're paying for outside either way. You know what I mean? And so you're just shifting it, but then you have somebody that's in-house, and you're just trying to coordinate it with, you know, Charlton and Oxford and, you know,
and then in
whatever.
the middle of the night when we need a plumber, is that person gonna be willing to come out? And what if they have something going on at another housing authority at the same
Well, you
time?
can still make a phone call and call the other guy. But I'm just wondering if you've ever tried to, I don't know how closely, if at all, you guys actually try to coordinate and share
We're,
misery, as the case may be,
Mm.
share problems.
it's something that we could consider. I mean, have we done it in the past? No, because for the most part, we did our own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but with licensing and liability wise, I mean, you need a license. We have master electricians, we have master plumbers.
Right.
So we're not gonna have just, you know, and plus, you want the residents to get used to these people because they're the ones that are responding in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Our plumbers and our electricians are known to our residents because we've been using them for years. It's something I can ask to see if there would be an interest in it. I mean, it would have to be our local.
Yeah, I mean, because whoever's presumably, I mean, for him, for whoever the licensed person is, it's, you know, it's a real job as opposed to waiting for the phone to ring.
Like,
So, you know, so it cuts, you know what I mean? Like, it's, being self-employed isn't always the most fun thing either, even if you're a contractor.
but
So
I think,
I'm sure there's somebody out there that would like, you know, it'd be nice to start with a paycheck and go to work.
well, I think our plumbers and electricians that we use actually go to other housing authorities as well. Because our plumber is actually from Spencer, and I know he did Charlton. He was at Charlton before we
Mm-hmm.
hired him, so I'm assuming that they're going to multiple
Right.
Do you still have
agencies.
them? One Spencer. My son-in-law worked there, she was working in housing.
What company is that?
Bergeron Plumbing.
Bergeron?
He's been around a long time, but it's something I can ask and see if there's an interest in it.
It's just, I'm just floating an idea, it's just,
I just don't want our service
you know,
to be
service to go
interrupted,
down.
because when we need them,
Yeah.
it's
You
a
need them.
big
Winter's the worst.
deal. And in the middle of the night, I know these
First
people
pipes.
will come.
Yeah, you need planning, planning.
Right.
And I don't wanna hear, well, we're gonna go to Oxford first, and then we'll come to you. Well, in the meantime, I have water
Yes.
running.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit to it, but I can see what you're saying.
It's,
On page 13 of 15, it says, I'm just curious, other administrative expenses, what does that encompass, do you know? Or is that just a placeholder in case something big comes up?
you're on 14, you said?
Page 13 of 15, line 200,
Okay, this isn't a federal,
other administrative expenses, is that just a placeholder for?
I think so. Cause everything else seems to,
To say I was pretty impressed with the bad debt too. For, the size of the operation. It's good.
you know, and that, we're in the process of doing repayment agreements with the people that still owe us money during that whole COVID
Mm-hmm.
period. We've gone to court with one resident already, we're waiting for, we went to trial, so we're waiting for the judge's determination on that. But if they violate the repayment agreements, then we'll issue a notice to quit.
Right. Right.
And it's like, some of these people owe considerable amount of money, like the one we went to court, it's almost $8,000. But she stated to the judge that with tax return money, that she'd be able to pay us in full, but she owes National Grid, and she owes Osterman Propane, and that's a lease violation by not being able to have your utilities paid off. So it's like multiple things, so the utility's gonna have to get paid, and so is her rent, in order for her to stay. And then if she violates the agreement, then we go back into court and push to evict.
Yeah.
Because they want you to see that you've made an effort with these people
Right.
to give them a chance to correct the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
But, so you might not get an eviction the first time through, but if the behavior doesn't change, then we're gonna push to go back in, and it does cost us money to go to court,
Absolutely.
but it's the cost of doing business.
Well, do it
And the
yourself.
housing authority is a business,
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
so
That's all the questions I had.
So I guess we need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the 2024 budget.
Right,
I'll second.
Do you want to all vote?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
None opposed? It is a vote. And then the next item is the bad debt.
And with this, we did approach the families, like this move to the nursing home.
Yeah.
Well, when the resident moved, they took her social security check. So there was no money left for us to even go after, because when she entered the nursing home, the money was lost. We did approach the
Yeah.
family, like these people that have passed. We did approach the families to get them to pay, and they flat out refused.
Mhm.
So it's not like we didn't make an effort, we did, and it was like, I mean, I wouldn't want my mother.
Not much you can do about that.
No, but I mean,
No.
the idea that your parent is
It's
like,
kind of weird.
is bad, you know?
You never know, maybe when they settle it, maybe they
You
haven't
think the
settled
kids
yet.
would chip in
I don't know how old they
and
are.
clean it up,
And clean it up, you know.
Yeah.
exactly, but that's not what happened, so it's like, and then what are you gonna do?
Not much.
So, in the long run, I mean, it's not,
It's not terrible.
But it shouldn't have been what it is.
Right, but
I
it's.
mean, unless the one that got evicted, and the eviction was a miracle, but you can't get the money.
But they were behind before they passed.
And the, well,
Because usually you would be paying at the front of the month for the
Right.
month. So if you passed, there would be nothing to chase.
well, the 383, they weren't behind, it was the last month. And the same thing with the 716.
It was 2 months though, right?
The
Was that just
716
1
was 2 months. The 383 was 1 month. And she,
So they were behind.
yeah. But the 705, that was a family tenant, and they were behind a couple months. And they died during COVID, so it's like, what are you gonna do? And the same thing with the one that, the big ones were all,
Now, you write that bad debt off at the end of the year, correct? Okay, so then we could start the year 2024 at 0.
with these,
Yeah.
right? Gary, once you guys vote, then Gary will submit this, and these come off our books, cause
Right.
I mean, we have no way to recover the money.
Right.
We're not gonna show it,
So,
Mhm.
right, it has to come off.
and we just keep, with COVID, it was hard. Now that COVID has ended, we're looking at everybody and start with the repayment agreement, get them in here, see if they'll sign that, and if they don't, then we're gonna push to evict. Cause it's like, you owe us this money,
Mhm.
COVID is over,
Right.
and you need to pay. I mean, one bought a new car, paid like her other bills, but didn't pay her rent, her gas, or her electric. Bought a new car. And even the judge asked, well, where'd the money go? And she said she has kids. You would think the biggest thing would be to provide them a home, but they have the expectation that they're not gonna get evicted.
Mhm. It's hard having children and not having them
That's
to
right.
get around though either. You know,
True.
It's a double-edged sword.
And she has a job,
That's what I mean. You gotta
You
get
need
the
the
kids
car to
here and
get to
there,
the
you gotta
job.
get to work and,
Yeah.
yeah, the
I
car's,
agree with that.
a vehicle is important. But not when you're not paying for the roof over your head.
and the
I
rent
suppose.
was
Yeah,
under $400 a month. And that was what the judge was looking at, saying,
Yeah.
you need to pay. I mean, if your utilities get shut off, then what do you do? And there was a case of one of the utilities was shut off and money was applied for, and the money went to the utility and not to us.
Mhm.
And since then, I don't know if they're paying or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they are, but they're
But
gonna
they
be in
haven't
that,
turned them off.
and they're gonna be in that same situation. Now, it's tougher to turn off utilities in the winter,
Right.
but they still need to pay their rent.
Make a motion to approve the bad debt of 2023.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Okay, number 5, member items. Anybody have anything?
Not me.
That's very good. We need a motion to adjourn.
So you need the next meeting.
Oh, next meeting is, tell me, December 12th to 12:30.
December what?
December,
It's a Tuesday.
We can't do them later. I know 1 o'clock has been terrific, but
December 12th.
we had discussed that previously.
Please,
Please what?
please discuss it.
Please discuss. So you'd like to go later?
I'd rather go to Kim.
No.
I mean, that's what we always
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I know, but we both work as well. And,
Well, doesn't that interrupt more at 1?
No.
no, I get,
10
I
is
just get on everything I need to get done in the morning.
10 is really tough.
So what did you say,
the
12?
Next one's gonna be on a Tuesday?
And you wanted to do 12:30, not 1.
No, I don't care. I mean, if you wanna do 1 o'clock,
That's fine.
Yeah, I guess if it's gonna be 1, it's gonna be 1, yeah.
So December
Good at 1?
12th.
yeah.
So 1 o'clock on
December 12th.
December 12th.
And in the
At
past,
some point, it would be nice if we could get it done a little bit later on in the day, and that would give others opportunity to attend the meetings as well.
Tuesday.
see, in the past, we had it at 3 o'clock. And then they found that it was too late. And then when the clocks
Wait till-
changed, it was for the board members. And that's why it went to 10.
It's late.
You know, they just didn't want to be out at that hour.
Well, yeah, when the, it gets dark, or
Especially in the
winter
winter when it
time,
gets dark.
yeah.
Yeah, in the winter was a problem. And that's why we went to 10.
Right. Because the sun is up by 10,
And it's warmer.
just barely.
Yeah. Right. Make a motion to adjourn.
Need a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have adjourned.